Hello, my name is Omar Rampersad. It's Thursday, November 22nd, 2018 at 8:21 p.m. in Toronto. So I'm going to talk about the targeting that I'm experiencing. There's a lot going on in the workplace, and I tweeted about this before. So I started on Tuesday this week, on the 20th, and the targeting started the same day. So there seemed to be a contract on me, and the contract is held by somebody in the company, and I am to be surveilled. So the setup, from what I'm being harassed with, is the family member had me declared and have this file about me that says something is wrong with me mentally. And the cops is working with the family, and the family is working with the cops. But this started actually with the cops and people in this building. But right now, what's going on in the company that I'm in right now is the family seem to be involved with the setup. So my sister-in-law and her son has documentation, court documentation that they presented that says that something is wrong with me and I need to be surveilled. This has never been disclosed to me by my family or by anybody in the company I'm working with. There's been no disclosure. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with me mentally because I get up at 4:30 in the morning to be there for 7:30. I use public transit. And I get home 8:30. I just got in. As you can tell, I'm exhausted. So there is no mental incapacity and there's no mental insanity and no emotional perturbation. Now, let's talk about the reasons why I suspect the cops are being called in the workplace. I am suspecting and strongly believe that the company had their name on a waiting list because they knew, because this was public information and I heard the cops are making announcements about me. They knew that I was a target. I was flagged in the system, so therefore my name was on a list. And I was flagged as mentally ill and a prostitute. Now, the question has to be asked, why would a company hire without disclosure before they hired the person, a target, who's been registered up with a fake criminal file that portrays the person as a prostitute and mentally ill? Why would they hire the person? Why was I hired? Well, here is the reason. A target is used to run experiments on. And I am being experimented on in the workplace, like I was experimented on at Give and Go, as I was experimented on at Triovest. And these are some of the big companies that I worked for previously within the last 5 years. There are people in the company, such as Badr Nizar, Gokaran, and I'm not sure whose name is on the account in the one I'm in right now. These people sign me out of the system because they're on a waiting list waiting for me to become available from other companies who fired me basically for no reason or end a contract for restructuring or just plain fired me because I'm not a fit after 8 days because their name was on a waiting list. And they hired me, fired me after 8 days and say on a record that I was not a fit and try to degrade my abilities or say something like I lied in my interview. Well, they have, if this is being said about me, then there's a copy of my resume in their file. And if they think I'm lying, then why would they hire me? Doesn't make sense, right? Everything is in my resume. So it would be just another example, if they were to say that, another example of degrading and trying to criminalize me and defame me by saying I lied in the interview. It's not possible to lie in an interview if the resume is there. And if somebody were to ask the right questions, you'd find answers. So there's no lying in an interview. And everything is backed up. If anything on my resume is researched, it will be backed up. So there was no lying. So let's get back to this list. So there are two lists. The one that my name is on because I'm flagged, and people are constantly flagging me based on lies. And I heard two policemen, Dale and Stip. These are two cops at 42nd Division that I keep hearing over and over and over again, as you'd see in my tweets. And I tweet their names because I keep on hearing their names as the cops who are extending the contract to surveil based on the reports that they're getting. So people sign me out knowing that they can run experiments on me once the flagging is extended and once the illegal surveillance or the need for surveillance is extended by the police, then the people who are signing me out is operating with cover. They're working with the cops. So in the company I'm in, I am being passed around, and that takes place as different people take turns in monitoring me. So I'm being monitored, silhouette, naked. I'm being seen naked, and I'm passed around by this monitor to other people in the office, and a lot of these are men. A lot of them are Indians and new immigrants, or immigrants, basically, new and old. And they're looking at me share. My desk is being broadcasted, I suspect, as part of this experiment. And they're testing me. They're putting me through certain tests. Like, here's a task, do it. And then the team of however number of people, 6, 7, would have my screen broadcasted, and they would look to see how I'm doing it, how fast I'm doing it, how logical I am, what my thinking ability is, and they'll constantly upgrade the spreadsheet that they've got about me. And again, this has been done at other companies as well previous to this. Experimenting. And because I'm registered up as a prostitute, I'm being harassed as one. And I'm being harassed as a slave, a sex slave. And I heard the comment, that's why we hired you. You're here to serve. And I heard this comment before. Serve as in being gerbil. So when I sit on my desk, as in at Give and Go, there's a cyclical change in temperature around me, and my body temperature and my heart rate. And I get palpitations when I get really, really hot. And I had a thermometer on my desk at Give and Go, and you could see the cyclical change that was in sync with my heart rate increases, rapid increases, and palpitations. And this was also accompanied by a lot of verbal harassment about the contents of this file that was released to the co-workers in the company. And this is exactly what's happening in this company that I'm in right now. So why was I hired? Let's go back to that question. Why was I hired? To run experiments on. So the experiments, of course, is triggering me. So triggering very upsetting emotions, like when people would say, make comments like effing whore within earshot. Two men talking about, I saw her hole clearly. I didn't think I'd see her this clearly. And they're referring to the satellite feed that they're logging on with the password and the link. And they're looking at my silhouette, and it's naked, and it's a very clear picture, as in a airport scanner. Very, very, very upsetting comments. Sexually harassing me, basically, with these comments. How do I deal with it? Well, I'm not going to verbally talk about this to anyone because they're the one who's harassing me, and I can't go to HR either. So as I did at Give and Go, I just go to my Excel spreadsheet and I type out whatever I need to type to deal with the upsetting emotions that's triggered by these nasty, nasty, nasty comments. And my camera is doing all sorts of weird things, very, very weird things. Um, so this is what's going on right now. So I heard that Ranty, who is a black female from the Jane and Finch area that is known for pimping and sex slavery now, I heard. I heard she put her name on the account, and the blacks have me because they are the monitoring team. And so a lot of black men are following me around. Like today in the subway, the black man came and stood really, excuse me, really, really close to me, behind me. And he dropped a hat and he picked it up. And his head was close to me. So, of course, I stepped away. Just one of the many, many incidents that occurs when people stalk you. They will come and cross your path very close to you, brushing against you, or bump into you and then say you bumped into them because you're registered up with, bumping into people. So they would do exactly what the reports say. They'll piggyback on it, and then they'll call the cops and say, "Oh my God, this person followed me and stalked me," and all sorts of lies like this. And because I'm a target, and the cops are expecting these calls, um, it will be taken as the truth because this is what they're supposed to do. This is what the informants are supposed to do. They're supposed to degrade a target. They're supposed to lie about them. They're told to do so. Frame the target, set up the target. They're expected to do this. They're paid to do this. This is why they bring you out. This is why they sign you out to start with, to experiment on you. And some of these are just plain experimentation, some of them. So this is why the company hired me. This is, of course, bargaining in bad faith. This is criminal activity. And I heard people are claiming that the government is doing it. Well, I personally do not believe the government is doing it. I think it's funded in my case. It's funded by traffickers, by Chinese traffickers that started in this building. Cops are involved, and so maybe people are thinking, well, the government is involved. Well, they're dirty cops. Because the cops are part of the government, then you would think that the government is doing it. But the government is not, in my opinion, is not doing it. The dirty cops are, and whoever are paying them off to do so. They're the one who's doing it. So there is no mental illness. There is no emotional perturbation. And the quality of my work can be measured by the data that's in the system in which I'm using, the system that I'm using in the company. How much I enter, how accurate it's entered, how timely it is. And as far as any lies about befriending anybody, following people around, walking back and forth, these are just piggybacking on previous reports. They are not true. They're absolutely not true because I'm aware of what's going on. If I'm walking back and forth anywhere to the printer to file something, that's because I need to do it within the scope of my job. It falls within the scope of my job. I'm not doing it because there's something wrong with me or because I want to pass somebody's desk several times. My feet hurts. I have sometimes, because I walk so much, they get swollen. So I wouldn't be walking around needlessly anyways. There's a physical reason for that, as I just said. So none of this is making sense. And it's not supposed to make sense because I'm a target. As long as the goal is met, human degradation, disrespect, insults to make you feel bad about yourself, to give you supposedly a low self-esteem so they can report on it, make you depressed so they can report on it. These are made to happen scenarios if they come about. I'm not depressed because I'm doing this. I'm actually exposing what's going on. Now, if this goes on in the company, of course, I'm not going to be able to stay because I'm getting heart palpitations already at my desk. And I haven't had palpitations while while I'm home as much. I do get the odd ones when I'm eating and I get these burning sensations on the surface of my skin. And sometimes when I'm just about to go to bed, and I get burning sensations between my legs. And I'm suspecting this is when I'm being hit with some sort of a remote directed energy weapon. But on the job, this is very concerning because it means that there is more stress than normal. Because normally I don't get palpitations while working. I enjoy work. But if somebody were to stress you out emotionally, intensely so, by making nasty, nasty sexual comments, sexually harassing comments, and you get palpitations, and then that's an indication of extreme stress, which is happening. So, of course, I'm being driven out of the job. And I have a strong suspicion that I'm flagged again, and the flagging caused an extension for me to be surveilled. So this is going to an ongoing basis to run experiments on me. And this is what Rohini Besasa was talking about. She was being experimented with. And for different targets, the experiments are different. She was drugged, so I heard that there's drugging in my future. The reason I'm being harassed so intensely is to make me react in such a way that the police will say, we need to drug her for the public good. It's a made to happen scenario. Because I'm a target, I need to be drugged. So the drugging is actually going to compromise my thinking ability. So that would make me mentally retarded, as I'm registered up with another made to happen scenario. Because the drug is actually going to fog up your thinking, as it did Rohini Besasa. And I suspect it's the drugs that pushed Rohini Besasa over the edge to do what she did. And even so, she didn't intend to kill because she only stabbed the person once and put the knife down. I personally do not think that that one stab killed a person. Personally, in my opinion. So, I'm going to end there. Talk to you another time.